I talk to the crows on the wire. They carry a voice I still know. My hands in the dirt, pulling fire from seeds that the dead helped me sow. The gardens remember what I can't forget. A woman who lived here I've already met.
Oh my God, I forgot the llamas.
He's a little shaggy right now because he's about to get sheared next week. So, hi. He's gonna want to put his nose right in your face. And so don't, like, if you don't like it, he's not gonna bite you. He can't bite you.
I'm not scared.
But he just wants to smell your breath. That's how llamas say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, really?
That was not a spit. That was just a snort. Here, we're coming in. We're coming in.
Maybe it's the hat.
Come on
Look
in.
at me.
And then look at these cool colored eggs that I have. I go crazy over the
Heaven on earth. Oh, I know.
different types of chickens. And this is from an older hen. You can tell because it's a little bigger.
I'm so happy right now.
These are from baby hens. You can tell because of their size and they're still kind of figuring it out. This one I'm very happy about. This is from a French black copper marin. This is from one of my olive eggers. This is from my blue Americanas.
Did you say an olive? What kind?
Olive egger.
Olive egg.
And then
Oh, that's gorgeous. I've never seen an olive like
look at that one.
This is insane. Season. Thank you, ladies.
Well,
so
and they're
much.
kind of mad right now because we've got a den of coyotes
This is the best
hanging out
birthday.
nearby, so I'm not letting them free range right now for their own
best
well-being,
birthday
and they're
ever.
very mad about it. They're like, "Why do we have to stay in here?"
Oh, they're fabulous.
But
yeah,
my
I hear
babies
you.
are here.
Thank you.
Hi, babies.
Wow.
These just hatched 2 weeks ago.
What? I mean, look at these. I'm so happy right now.
This is Dee Dee dragon fruit.
Dee dragon fruit. Hi, honey.
She was the first one to hatch, although I think she's a rooster, actually.
Hello.
Everybody's not always in confinement. It's just for their protection right now because of this coyote situation that we have. But these are Narragansett turkeys. And so my plan with these guys is
Oh my God.
I'm going to harvest all but one of the toms. You guys are so beautiful. And I'll keep the hens, and then the hens will free range, but I'll keep one tom in here actually because the toms would kill the chickens. And then next year I'll be able to hatch fertile turkey eggs, and then I'll be able to do the cycle again. Hi.
Oh my God, come on.
This is Butterfly. She was hatched here. Here, baby.
Oh my God, they have my peacocks. Look up, Carl. Carl.
So this
Look
is
behind you.
they're going to be free range as well. She would be happy to be free range right now because she wouldn't go anywhere because she was born here. But I lost the other ones from a coyote. So I got these ones so she would have friends that are a year old, but they're very shy right now of people. And if I let them out, they would fly away. So for the time being, everybody's on lockdown. Oh yeah, so over here, when I bought this place, it was a monocrop avocado orchard.
Oh, really?
And so now I've been regenerating it. I've been learning as I've been traveling around the world. And so this is a food forest. And so what once was a monocrop, desertified, fallowed avocado orchard is now a multi-layer, diverse food forest. I did 2 seasons of cover crops, legumes and turnips and parsnip, and that kind of opened up the soil. And then I planted coffee. So I've got geisha coffee trees, geisha arabica coffee. I've got guava. I've got pineapple, guava, banana, tons of avocado, of course. And then I've just been planting all kinds of different things. Plums, pears, peaches, lots of mulberries. Hi. Jujubes. I'm just, biodiversity is key. So when people come here, they notice it's about 10 degrees cooler than when they go to other places during the summer. And it's also warmer in the winter because we have so much life and the ground is covered. And I'm trying to build this forest up so it has a full canopy. And this was an oak tree savanna originally, so it would have had a whole canopy covering it. And so I'm slowly trying to bring that shade and that ground coverage back in.
Well, how long ago was this that you were first here?
2012, so 14 years.
So when did it start regenerating? Like
It
from the
took
one-
2 years to get my first weed. It had been so chemically fallowed. And And then I started to get kind of the figs that were just randomly growing. Although those aren't great because they kind of steal some of the water. I'm learning how to manage it. So that's one of the things about regenerative agriculture that I love is like you're growing food and you're building a wild habitat, but it's managed. Because if you just let it do its own thing, you're actually going to find that it's often so out of balance that the invasive species will come in and take over. And so humans really do play an important role in regenerating the soil. I come from a legacy farming family.
Oh.
Yeah, and 14 generations of my family. Here's one of my other gardens.
God. Okay,
Here, come and have it.
heaven.
Let's see if this.
It's like heaven upon heaven, and then this is just a dream. Thank
Come
you.
in here. And so, yeah, I watched in my family, they have the farmer's diseases. They've got Parkinson's, cancer, all kinds of autoimmune diseases, infertility. And that's because my dad and aunts and uncles used to stand in vats of DDT and 2,4-D, which is actually Agent Orange. And so then when I was 9, actually 8, I started in a Christmas movie called Prancer with Sam Elliott. And that's about a farming family.
Seriously?
Of having a hard time.
Christmas farming movie?
Mhm.
I'm definitely excited. How old are you? Were 9?
I was 9, and it's actually one of the top 20 Christmas movies of all time. But it's about me and my relationship with my dad in the movie, who's Sam
I gotta
Elliott.
go home to watch you.
You'll see it. Now that you've probably seen it.
No,
It's
I
been
love
around.
Christmas movies. I promise I haven't.
You'll like it.
Oh, I
And
can't
then
wait.
I came out to Hollywood to act, and I ended up in horror movies. And
Really?
And I starred in a Clive Barker horror movie where, and they wrote this. The part was from me, and I sucked the souls and blood of men, and I'm like giving birth to a giant alien squid baby on the basement floor of a monastery, and it's like trying to eat me. And I was like, time for a career change.
Whoa.
And then I saw An Inconvenient Truth, and I was like,
Okay.
this is what I'm here for. Like I've always felt like I was made to make movies. I always felt like there was a story that I needed to tell, and I didn't know what it was, and it drew me out here, and it drew me into that theater, and I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. And then shortly after that, I met Josh, and he was working on a film about biodiesel. But for me, what that represented was like freedom from oil, a way to reduce carbon emissions. And we made our first film about that, and it won Sundance, 2008. And he and I got engaged, and we started making movies together. And we made 4 movies about carbon emission reduction. And then my friend Ryland Engelhart moved into our Venice Beach shack when we moved here in 2012. We wanted to start a family, and I had gotten sick from exposure to oil during the BP oil spill. Oil and Corexit, the chemical dispersant that they use to hide and get rid of the oil. Anyway, we realized it was all about the soil. And we were like, look, Ryland, the only thing more dull than making movies about oil would be making movies about soil. Here we are, 20 movies later, 4 movies about soil.
And soil is sexy.
And soil is how we save ourselves.
Yes, which is, has to be sexy.
Yeah.
It sure is.
And Jason Momoa helped make it sexy too. And Demi Moore, right?
And you.
Aw, me too.
You know, it's funny that you talk about, that you saw Inconvenient Truth and were like, okay, this is what I need to do. I just told you offline that I saw your film, and that's what made me remember what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And how important all of this is. And it is the answer. It is the solution. And I've been, because of watching Common Ground, which truly broke open my heart, I have been a producer for so many other films because that was like the gateway to open my heart around this.
That storytelling can change the world, as you can see. Like when you touch somebody's heart, it moves them into a whole new realm of possibility. And so, it creates wars. It ends wars. It creates borderlines. It's ultimately through storytelling, especially through the storytelling of regeneration. That's how we can begin to heal and remember how to exist in symbiosis with the earth, how we, co-evolved with biodiversity, with nature. And we forgot that we are nature.
Exactly.
We try to control nature, but it's like, no, we are nature. And so much of the story we've been telling has been bad. It's like, we're doomed. We have 45 harvests left. Like, climate change is going to wreak havoc, and people are sick of it. So we have to start telling a new story.
Exactly. And yours are always stories of solution and stories of hope. And that is something that, my dad was a Holocaust survivor, and he's always said, like, anytime I was depressed or having a rough time as a child, he would go back to hope. And I think that's the hook that was so deep for me, was like, is hope that there's a solution, and it actually is going to work, and it is working. It's already working, so much so.
Yeah, when Kiss the Ground came out, there was less than 3.5 million acres in transition to regeneration in the United States, and now 6 years later, there's 86 million acres in transition to regeneration. And we can't take all the credit, but a huge part of bringing this message and waking people up to what biosequestration is, how we can store carbon in the soil, is because people saw or heard of Kiss the Ground, and then it started this whole movement.
And specifically getting, Common Ground to launch in a way where it was a love letter, like what it did is I don't know a dry eye after that movie.
That came to me in a dream.
Really?
The letter? That was a dream I had. I wrote that letter.
Language, girl.
It was like, I was a letter to my children.
Wow.
And that came to me in a dream. I woke up and I wrote it down.
It was your channel. Wow, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about this, but our connection to the mother as the earth, has been something that we both want to feed and nurture and nourish, and it's the answer for all of us, right? So, but it goes so deep because it heals you as you are part of the healing, because it's that connection reminds you that you are her. And it's just, the dance is really powerful, and I feel like our time is all coming to really celebrate that, and that is solution based, and fear doesn't exist in that space. It just doesn't have the space. It doesn't get to belong there.
It can come up.
It's like we were like, okay, it's like part of the contrast of life,
It comes up, but
it doesn't grip us and drive the direction that we're going in. It's that possibility in the light.
That's what it is. It means that we're not at the impossible yet. We're in the faith, or in the actual connection, the reconnection.
And honestly, like, the best ideas aren't our ideas at all. They're the ones that come through us when we allow ourselves to listen. And that's actually the first thing that regenerative farmers all around the world say, is when I ask them, like, how do you know what to do? They say they just go and they sit and they listen to what nature tells them. Do you know how many hours I sit there listening to Yoda and those chickens? Let me tell you.
Yeah, well, I would imagine. Oh, I got a lot of tree friends. I know the pipeline. We're back at Tell Belle with my dear, I love you so much, Rebecca. So much. I feel so nourished, always in your presence. But thank you for being here and doing this, my beautiful friend.
You're so welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for letting me
I've made so
show
many
off.
friends. Oh, please show us all the way. Like,
maybe instead of show off, I should say show on.
Show on. Oh yeah, shine on and show on. Yeah. It's actually, what we're learning from you is just so rich on every level. And I was tearing up before we started, because I was remembering, the remembrance of being on this couch. I think it was 4 years ago, when Common Ground was about to come out, and you were fundraising for this movie that I'd heard about, Kiss the Ground, of course, but hadn't even seen it yet. And when I saw it on this couch, like, I choke up just feeling into it. It was this love letter to the earth as the mother. And that has clearly been the wound for so many for so long, from the depths of the soil to our own relationship with the mother, and abandonment, fear of, connection, all the things that mother can represent, the duality of all of it. Yes. And it just, I brought my mother here and I cried, and I brought my sister here and cried again. And we became producers. Your film made me a producer. And it's just, I've been looking so forward to this time together to really thank you, in deep gratitude for how much I've learned from you and your films, and the people that have been so touched and honored, like the farmers from Gabe Brown to, these incredible heroes that we didn't know existed as heroes, and you brought light to it in a way that was life-changing for so many people and so many acres. And so I know that's an interesting intro to showcase and show on this beautiful friend of mine, but it's changed my life, this work, and it turned on something within me that was a remembrance. And I just want to share with you, and then I want to hear all about your journey there, but what it brought me that I don't talk about a lot, which is that your farm really just stirred up, and it's my dream. Like, a lot of people know me as a gala girl, but I'm really a farm girl. And this, like, yeah, you just cuddled up. There's the llamas, there's these animals everywhere, and growing a garden is very much taking me back to the roots of when I was 12 and living on a farm in Tryon, North Carolina. And I would be barefoot a lot and would, you know, my mom had these beautiful gardens, and I would snap beans and cook dinner for people in my family. And it wasn't always mentally well in my house. And so I would turn to nature as my sweet escape, and I would cook from the earth for the people that I loved in my life. And I would live with dogs and horses all over me. And I loved it so much. And that's something that was really tucked away when I went to boarding school. My horse and my dog died at the same time. And I just shut off from that world. And it's come back in such an authentic, genuine way. But your movie was like the welcoming home to myself around my connection to nature. Because I'd really shut it off, and living in New York and totally in the fashion world, and hardly being in the park anymore. So it was a remembrance of what I really loved and valued. And it's the life now I'm creating for our family and co-creating with films, and really sparked me to truly work on 40 plus films that were about in the regenerative vein. So a testimony and a thank you to the level of what you've given through the power of film, and how it spread and spread and spread to so many people that couldn't afford to make their movies. And that is truly, I attribute it to your work.
Thank you.
And so I just wanted to share that as the intro to my friend, Rebecca.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
It's like I really work to receive that, you know, because for me, and I don't mean to sound trite when I say this, but I hear that a lot, which is, you know, and one would think that, like, each time I hear it, I'm like, I would feel like, oh, I did it, but it never feels like I did it.
Yeah.
It always feels like I'm just here being of service to the thing that's coming through. And so it's like that gratitude is more of, you know, I do try to receive it because I know that I'm a part of it, but that's all I am, is I'm a part of something so much bigger than me, you know. And I'm just so lucky to be in this position, to be so convicted to this, telling the story and being, you know, resilient and relentless, like regenerative soil can be. You know, that resilience has been really helpful in terms of, you know, telling the story. I mean, Kiss the Ground, we got turned down at every step of the way.
Really?
I've had my head on the ground out there under that tree, like on the ground, just begging for guidance, just saying, please show me the path. It just felt so many times like failure, so many no's along the way. Kiss the Ground was rejected over and over and over countless times. And I really thought, like, have I led us astray? Are we crazy for trying to tell a story about soil? And then also, like, is it even true? I mean, that's the other thing too. It's like, I'm not a soil scientist. I'm not an expert on this, but over and over again, we went and we talked to farmers who had taken dust and they had turned it into this beautiful living ecosystem. And you could hear it, and you could smell it, and you could see it, and you could taste it, you could feel it. And, you know, and then people started to get on board. But when we started in 2013 with Kiss the Ground, we literally got laughed out of Hollywood. We were told that we were reckless and irresponsible for saying that we could actually draw down all the carbon that we had emitted. A teraton of carbon is what we've emitted into the atmosphere. 1/3 of that came from soil. The rest of it comes from other sources. But all of that can be absorbed back into the soil through regeneration. And also the oceans that have absorbed all of this carbon, and it's leading to ocean acidification, and there's no more room for carbon in the ocean, and that there's only one place for that carbon to go, and that's back into the soil. So if we want to save the oceans, if we want to save ourselves, if we want to, you know, continue to have our children be able to have a future where they can live and thrive on Earth. It's like that was the way forward. And so in spite of being laughed out of Hollywood, in spite of being told no over and over again, in spite of taking every penny that we had and putting it back into it, right up until 2020, when we finally got a movie that people didn't say should just be shown at a conference or at a university, which is what we had been told. We finally got it into Tribeca. And that was a huge miracle at that time. And then COVID happened. And then it was over before we had even started. And so when we finally got Netflix to agree to take it, I told you the story of how we tricked them basically through, it was like Leonardo DiCaprio and Laura Dern that ended up forcing Netflix to take it, and they didn't even know what they had. And then it became their top environmental documentary at the time. And they called us on Earth Day the next year, do you guys have the trailer for this film? And I was like, you mean the trailer that's on our website? I'm like, yes, we can get you the trailer. They're like, we heard you have a curriculum. Can we get the curriculum? And I was like, here it is. And
amazing.
And it
tell us about the curriculum.
So we always, starting with our first film, Fuel, I was very passionate about doing a school curriculum and doing an educational version of it and then making it free. So I have been vigilant in holding back educational rights, because I just didn't want people to have to pay for it. I thought, you know what, people who are policymakers, people who are teachers, young people, people who are in the industries especially that are extractive and polluting, they need this message. And time again, actually, I've seen people in a theater have a transformation and stand up in tears over and over and over again and make a declaration that from that day forward, their life was going to be different. And then it was. And I hear those stories 5 years later, 10 years later, of how they watched one of our films and it altered the trajectory of the course of their life. And I've heard that since our very first film. So I think I do take it into the point that I know that it is world changing when people hear the story, but it's hard for me to take the credit for it, because but it does fuel me to want to keep going and to tell these stories. And the main way I believe that we make that impact is through this shorter version that we make for free, that we give away, that we create a curriculum that can be taught in schools. In fact, the Kiss the Ground curriculum is, I didn't even know it, but they're showing it at 3 of the schools here in Ojai. I found out about it from other parents and from kids. I had nothing to do with it.
That's beautiful. Wow. I mean, is it working or what? Look at this impact.
It's working.
It is so working. And you knew, how did you know personally when it was this is the solution, I'm going for it? Was that a personal?
Well, with Kiss the Ground, Ryland Engelhart had started Kiss the Ground, the nonprofit, and he moved into our Venice Beach shack when Josh and I had decided that we wanted to move here, because I had been pretty sick and we wanted to move onto a farm, and we had heard about Ojai, and we wanted to be on the land, and we wanted to have a place where we could live, where we could start a family if I was able, after all of that exposure to pollution and toxicity. And we wanted to have a community space where people could come and gather, and we could learn how to heal the land, and we could learn how to heal ourselves. And that was the vision. And we had no idea how that was going to happen. And it truly was a miracle that we ended up here. So Ryland had talked to his ear off about soil. And I was like, come on, Ryland. I'm not making a movie about soil. Right. And then he moved into that house, and then we moved up here. And then it was Ryland and Finian who had started that organization. They're like, soil. And then one day I was driving down Ojai Avenue, and honestly, it felt like it hit me. I just remember seeing the town, and all of a sudden it was just I felt like it was whispered into my consciousness, kiss the ground. And that was that. He's shamaning that energy 100%. Right now.
Just talk about
that was it. I knew. And that was in 2013. It was really clear.
That cat knows too, matches the eye with the pillow, the whole thing. That's pretty epic. Enter magic.
Yes.
This is just, it is. Did you always know? Were you a child and you'd get hits and you'd know?
Oh yeah. I remember I saw Josh driving the veggie van on the Today Show when I was 16. He was 21. And I remember I saw that, and I remember thinking it made such an impression. It was it's hard to describe. It's not deja vu. It's not, I don't know how to describe what the feeling is. It was the same thing when I saw John Paul DeJoria's Paul Mitchell commercial with his wife Eloise and Mariel Hemingway. I remember seeing that commercial as a kid. And I rarely watched TV, but the fact that I saw both of those images, it was it's like something comes over my body And it actually, there's a little bit of anxiety attached to it because there's like a knowing that something's supposed to happen there. It's like, I'm supposed to know this person. And it's actually, it's like, and in the moment, I don't understand why. And it creates a little bit of anxiety, almost like a longing.
Yeah, totally.
But it leaves a mark. And then when I saw Josh the first time, I remembered that moment. And I was like, that's the guy. This is the person. And I was like, he's the one. And then I remember when I saw John Paul, he stood up at the Sundance Film Festival and he raised his hand at the end. And he was like, everybody in the world needs to see this movie. And then he's since been a funder pretty much on all of our films, and a dear friend, a dear family friend. And it's always like that. There's always I had the same thing with Demi Moore when I watched her movie, The Seventh Sign. Like, that really disturbed me as a kid, but it's something about Demi Moore. It's weird like that.
Yeah, it is a knowing. Exactly. An intuition and when you trust it, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
That's when you follow it, right? Or you just let it unfold.
It actually was the same with Laura Dern and her mom, Diane Ladd. I saw that my mom took me because I was in Prancer, and so the movie theater let me go and watch movies for free. And so my mom would drag me to see all these totally age-inappropriate films at 9 years old. So she took me to see Wild at Heart in the theater at 9, and it was Laura Dern and Diane like having this whole drama on the screen that was wildly inappropriate for me as a 9-year-old. And it was the same thing. I remember running into the bathroom and looking in the mirror at myself and being like, what was that? And then Diane Ladd became my good friend, and Laura too. And Diane and I started an organization called Regenerate Ojai.
Really?
And that's Laura Dern's mom.
Yeah.
And we both were trying to stop the pesticide spraying here in the Ojai Valley, because I thought this was like a bucolic, beautiful place where people could come to heal. But it turns out, as an agricultural community, that they spray 72 times per month, massive neurotoxins with skull and crossbones on the label that says fatal if inhaled. And one of the main ways that they spray it is with these giant World War II fan sprays, and it just goes way up in the air and then it drifts all around for 5 days. It can travel 6 miles. And we're in, like, Ojai is the Chumash word for the nest. And so we are surrounded by mountains.
Oh my God, I love that. I didn't know
and
that.
We have a low inversion layer. It's beautiful, but it's terrible when you're spraying neurotoxins 72 times a month because there's no place for it to go. And so Diane was breathing it in. And I remember that day we had been accidentally sprayed because a neighbor was using an airplane to spray their citrus, and it drifted over onto our property. And so I texted some people. I was like, close your windows and doors because there's spraying happening today. And that was how I learned about what was happening here. Whoa. And then she went on this tour with her daughter, because I filmed with her and we started this organization. And we have 22,408 people part of it. There's only 9,000 people in Ojai, mostly moms. And she and I would film, and I'd go to her house. She was living on the East End, surrounded by orange groves. And she and her mom went on a tour because the lining of her lungs got destroyed. And she's like, my mom's going to die of pesticide exposure. And she passed away in December.
I'm so sorry.
And her dogs died also and had seizures. And so it turned out that Ojai wasn't the place that I thought that it was. And so now, like, it actually, on the global, it's starting to change. And as it's changing, because I'm having to change state laws in order to change county things. I started in Ojai. Ojai had no jurisdiction. And then I went to Ventura County. And it turns out Ventura County, when Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez were here, they left Ventura County. They said it was the most racist place that they had been. And they coined it the last plantation, Ventura County, because of the human rights abuses that were happening then, that are still happening to this day here in Ventura County. And what's funny is, globally, people recognize this work, and I am fortunate enough to be attributed as being a part of that. And I get recognized around the world for helping to bring this message around the world. But here within our own community, I'm called a hysterical terrorist by the farmers. They say that I'm a Hollywood newcomer, and that I'm spreading fear-based, non-fact-based hysteria. And actually, if you want to, you should take a tour of my bathroom, because I finally, after I was so upset about it, I decided to start framing it. So now I just highlight it and I frame it, and it's all hanging on the wall above the toilet in the guest bathroom.
Beautiful way to release that shit. Truly.
And I also had a farmer come on this, and I've had 2 town hall meetings about it. During the second town hall meeting, we had women all filled the front row. They all had no hair because they were all in chemo with cancer. We call the East End, instead of Cancer Alley, we call it the Cancer Valley.
Oh God, I had no idea.
And that during that town hall meeting, when I got home, I brought the scientists home with me, and we were having dinner at the kitchen table with the kids, and we were having a coyote issue, and Josh had installed motion sensors, light motion sensors, and so the lights went on in the backyard. And I was like, what's that? And we figured it must have just been the rain or the wind or something had triggered the light. I took the kids to school the next morning, and then when I got home, I opened the mailbox, and there was a giant chunk of asphalt in the mailbox. And I was looking at it like, what? And then I realized, oh my God, this is a message. And I threw it down because I didn't know if it was laced with some type of chemical or something. And I reviewed the security footage. And it turns out right after I had gone to the town hall meeting, a person was walking around the property and then left. And then it got dark, and then we came back, and then another car came and it parked, and a person got out, and they were moving around, and then they disappeared up into the backyard. And then the light turned on, which the police said deterred them from throwing the asphalt through my kitchen window. They went back down and put it in the mailbox and left. And then I was able to identify who it was because of the license plate from the video footage. And the police this person was a farmer who was the first person who had been fined because of some of the policies that we were able to get put in place in California. And they were really angry about that. And so a lot of people here don't realize that I actually come from a farming family. They don't realize that my own father, who is very conservative, who was a Trump voter, they're all very sick now. I've learned so much from him. And so I feel deeply connected to farmers who are caught into this mindset of using chemicals and this sort of green revolution thinking around how to grow food. And then Gabe Brown, like my hero, who's taught me so much. Also a Republican conservative farmer who read Thomas Jefferson's diaries and learned how to do regeneration. That all of the things about regeneration, and for him, it wasn't about spirit. I mean, it was about spirituality because he's a Christian and he believes that he's a steward of the land, but it wasn't about climate change. It was about how to survive because he kept losing his crop. And so that was how he started to learn about it. People get brought to it, and it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or, if you're a Hollywood newcomer. It's more about asking questions like, what should we be growing? What's going to serve this community? If you want to feed the world, feed your community. That's kind of the myth that people have bought into, that in order to feed the world, you have to grow a monocrop and then you have to ship it halfway around the world. No. And you've got to pollute your environment to extract that resource in the process. And that's what's been happening here. And so I've been very disruptive to this community because I've been asking questions that are hard questions to answer. And I'm relentless. I'm not going to give up until we heal California, because California sets the standard for the world when it comes to agriculture.
You're right. Well, I'm fascinated to learn how we can support you more.
Thank you.
How can we support you?
I started this group called Regenerate Ojai, so regenerateojai.com. It's we're just a group. We could be a nonprofit, but I kind of like leading it, and you can't really do that with a nonprofit. So we're a group of moms, basically.
Okay, great.
2,408 people, mostly women, who are really committed to not being exposed to neurotoxins and helping the local farmers to make a profit. Do we want to grow a monocrop citrus that we're going to ship to Japan and extract our valuable resources here and strip our soil and also poison ourselves in the process? And how about that? Farmers themselves and the farmers' children. It's is that the legacy that they want to leave? And also, if they want to stay in business, they need to transition to regenerative agriculture, because there's a blight called the Asian citrus psyllid and the citrus greening disease that wipes out conventional citrus. And can you guess what the only way to prevent the Asian citrus disease from spreading could be?
Do tell.
Regenerative agriculture. It's as simple as using mulch. It's as simple as covering the ground. It's as simple as having diversity so that that the plants actually can move the nutrients around in the soil to protect. You know, you can have orange trees. You just can't have all orange trees.
Yeah,
and honestly, like this is Ojai. Are we supposed to be growing oranges in Ojai? Number one rule of regenerative agriculture, farm in context. So no, citrus is not really meant to be here. But if you grow citrus with other things, it will survive and it will produce and it will thrive even.
Because what do you have in your regenerative forest?
I do have some citrus.
And avocado.
So I have like oranges, limes, lemons, all types of avocados, bacon, huerta, Hass. They call it Hass, I guess. I'm still learning. And then I've just been adding all kinds of things like jujubes, mulberries. Mulberry season is my favorite. I love mulberry season. I've got grapes. I've got plums. I've got apples. I've got pears. I've got, did I mention plums? I've got Arabica coffee. I've got bananas.
Coffee?
Mm-hmm.
It's all bananas. It's all like and the llama. With the
guava.
llama.
I have papaya. I have a whole ground cover of turmeric and ginger.
You are set, girl.
I'm learning. I'm learning.
And that's the thing. It is learning, right? It isn't just like, oh, you pick up, a rake and a shovel and some seeds and you know what you're doing. It's a process. It's a learning, right? Mm-hmm. It's not, but everyone can do it.
One would think. I keep trying to plant lime trees. I finally have one. I've planted them all over. I've lost like 10 lime trees. For whatever reason, they're very specific here. So,
really?
But now I have a good handful of lime trees.
They were resilient too. Well, the roses are thriving. I go to look outside and they're just blushing. They're so beautiful.
Those were here before me, but when I moved here, they looked terrible. And now because they're here with everything else, the soil is coming back to life. And I don't ever put fertilizer or ever spray them. I don't spray anything for pests ever. But what I do is I have lots of flowers so that the hummingbirds can come. And then I get the praying mantis, and then I see ladybugs. And there's just this natural, there's always going to be pests, but the pests stay in check because nature has a solution for each one of these problems. It's just a matter of allowing nature to be there to solve the problem. And then if something's out of balance, asking the question, well, why is that? What can I do to bring it back into balance? And so many people just want to grab some Roundup and spray the weeds, but the weeds are actually an important communicator from the soil, letting you know, what does the soil need? What do we need to bring the soil? And that's what the weeds tell us. And that's what the bugs tell us. They're all clues if we allow ourselves to listen.
How did you remember how to listen?
I grew up in Vermont, and like my mom has mental health issues, and this is before cell phones and before computers. And, I had a computer, but it was like the dial-up, it was like, it took forever. And I really didn't care so much about that stuff. I didn't really care about TV, and it was so cold half the time, but I didn't care about that either. I just loved being in nature. And so since I was so isolated from everyone, I spent most of my time in the woods by myself. And the trees were my friends.
Me too, on every level.
Yeah. And I guess I just learned how to listen to nature.
Yeah.
Because that's what was around me.
Did you know early, to take off your shoes, the earthing things? Yeah. Did you just know,
It's just, when you're a kid, that's the first thing that a kid does is they kick off their shoes. Whenever it wasn't cold.
Exactly.
Whenever there was grass, that felt so good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you did earthing, and you've talked about nature as healer.
It is. Nature is a healer. When they have, you can tell if there's an electron current. There's a meter that you can hold. And we do the test in the movie actually where someone has shoes on and they hold the meter and it doesn't light up. And then someone's barefoot and then they touch the person holding the meter, and then guess what? It lights up because we're conduits for that energy. Exactly. And that energy, I still am curious what that energy is beyond how science explains it. Yes, it heals our body. Yes, it reduces inflammation. Yes, it's It keeps our body at the correct charge, because like we start to get a slightly positive charge the more disconnected from the earth we become. And then people who live in cities or people who live in cold climates, like how many months do they go without actually touching the earth and getting that electron charge? And then how sick do those people get because they're not actually touching the earth? And, you see people like in countries where maybe they don't have all of this technology and they don't have all of this wealth and abundance, but they're the healthiest people in the world because they literally are connected to the earth. And indigenous people, when people would get sick, the Lakota people would cover people in mud and put them into the earth, and the earth would heal them. But I also wonder, like, what else is being communicated through that electron charge? And I think that's that's why when I want to listen, I take off my shoes and I go and I sit in nature, and it just, like, I don't even have to try, it just kind of hits me over the head sometimes.
I know so much me too on all of everything you just said. It's so beautiful to listen to you. It's just such a transmission, and it's such an honor to listen and also to be part of a movement that's about that reconnection, that also ultimately to childhood. Like the same for me. I was born in New York City and was surrounded by great art on the walls, but a lot of concrete. And we had Central Park across the street, but we also had, actually I'm going tomorrow to Pound Ridge, but like this farmhouse. And I remember going to like collect seeds in nature and be running around barefoot, and the woods of North Carolina, or, the mountains or the ocean, which is these moments that were my reverence, my healing. And as I've remembered, because New York I fell into the fashion world for a while and had a great time with it, but I was sick a lot. And just listening to you talk about it, I was like, yep. And thinking about how nature's healer, it's been a huge part of my healing around mental health, because I went through a lot of trauma as a child, and I'd run into nature, but also years later, before I'd seen your films, growing gardens in mental health institutes, in hospitals. I was getting those kinds of downloads while people thought I was going crazy, and
outside of the box thinking.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe some discomfort. And
it's all I wanted was to plant gardens and put my fingers in soil while I was being taken to this mental health center that was really toxic in so many ways. But the solutions were coming through before I'd ever seen. That's why I think it hit me so deeply too, it was this knowing that the earth is actually the healer, and the oceans are a healer. And what we've been doing is polluting and hurting our mother, like, over and over and over again. And that's, how do we honor that? And that shift is by regenerative agriculture. That's how if we can't heal our own mother or our own, brother or father, everyone has somebody that is struggling on some level with some mental health issue. Probably, I'll take out the probably, because of our food system, because of the toxicity, because of what we've been shown should be put in the body at every airport. And it breaks my heart, knowing what I know, to see what's happening on the planet. And it is something I'm so committed to helping end the cycle of, because it's also, when we stop abusing our mother, we can also stop abusing ourselves. It's so hand in hand. And I do believe that joining forces, just like connecting of the neurons, that I feel very, very lit up when I think about what we can do together, because these films that educate and that inspire and that transform lives is something that you and I are both so passionate about. And the more people awaken to this, it's exciting to me what this movement can really look like, and already looks like, because of epic women and creators such as yourself.
So I have a series.
Yes.
It's called Women of Regeneration.
Yes, you shall.
Each episode is a different element of regeneration. So episode 1 is on bison and how bison co-evolved with the wild Mustang. And we're going to go interview Laura Turner Seidel and learn how, instead of going down the path of being a media mogul, she decided to go down the path of conservation. And we're going to hear from, and then episode 2 is about fashion. And so that's all about, we're going to
Oh,
tell.
we gotta talk.
I know. So it's about regenerative
Yeah,
fashion.
yeah.
And that one's going to be super exciting. I'm so excited lit up about the fashion. And I've got coffee, and then I've got wine. Did you know that Pink has a regenerative winery?
In San Ynez, right? Which is my favorite place, other than Ojai, which is now also my favorite place because you're here.
Thank you.
But
We're gonna have to come visit more.
I love it. I love it.
So each episode, it's kind of like a documentary unto itself, a 52-minute short about what that topic is and the women who are leading that movement.
Where do we find? Has this been released yet?
No, I'm in the process. I'm in pre-production.
works.
Yes,
Okay.
on that. And then I have a series.
Can people give through a nonprofit?
Yes, through the Redford Center for Women of Regeneration.
Great.
Yes, actually the LLC for it is Big Mama, which I think.
I'm just gonna lay down. It's so good. I used to call my mom Big Mama.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I love her so much. She's been in and out of the hospital for the last 3 weeks, and yeah, she had kidney cancer, and she's been through it. But we both have been in this portal of the mother, because I'm talking about it, but I just had a miscarriage a couple of weeks ago, and I was so excited, and the mama is just the thing I am so committed to on every level. I feel like, you're so sweet. It's been hard. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Though, I had an experience that was so beautiful. It was crazy because it was on the same day that my mom was going in for her. The kidney was out, and she was having all these complications. And she went through this serious, thanks, babe. This is why I'm doing this show, and why I want people to tell their stories, because what I went through was so deep. My mom, I got in the call, she was going back to the hospital. My fiance is on the way to Big Sur with his son. We just had gone, and I was like, you have to go be in the forest and romp around and be with your son and go enjoy it. And they did. They were already on the road, and I was getting my clothes on to go see my mom, to run out the door. And it was so weird. I'd had some cramping the day before. I was exhausted, but I just thought she was also in a ton of pain. So we were laying in the bed together, and I thought I was fine. We've had so much healing in our relationship, and we've talked about our history, but yeah, so much. And been to India with her. She's just the best. She's a legend to me. I love her so much. And it's funny that it's called Big Mama, because that is what we called her when we were little. She was always called that. Yeah, she brought me home to the South. She brought me home to the eggs, she brought me home to nature. Even if it was hard, that was always the tool. And so I was literally getting my clothes on to go see her in the hospital, and I started bleeding. And I was like, I have to put myself first. I can't even move. I'm so scared. And I was so scared that her best friend, who was very special to me, had been doing these sound bowls over us the night before, because I wasn't feeling well. I thought I had morning sickness. I was queasy. My mom was laying next to me. And we were in this meditation with this woman that lives on this mountain. She's a total witch of the highest order, a priestess, and has this huge crystal, and channels Marilyn Monroe, and she's amazing. She's the best. And she's my mom's friend, and had been with her. And she called me about my mom, and I started wailing, primal screaming, in that kind of regenerative, wild, just letting myself feel it and scream, because I felt the loss, and I was heartbroken, and I was screaming. And she came over with scrambled eggs and perfect charcoal bread, and held me while I screamed. And it was you need each other. It's not even a question. It's and she had gone through 5 without anyone. And I thought about how many women have gone through these losses, whether it's their child or their parent or whatever, and they haven't had support. And the world, that the mushrooms, right, the mycelium, They need each other. That's how they function. And we need community, and we need tribe, and you need to say, hey, I need $200,000 for this movie because it's going to create this. Who do you know? And I have to say, oh, I know what to do, because that's what I get to give back. And that's how it works. Like, that's how it needs to work, and to be in support of each other. And it brought me through that portal. It brought me home to like the mother of like what we could actually all be for each other, which is the healer, which is the earth. And we have to be able to trust each other and like, and heal that sister wound. And this woman was that for me, because my mother has had, you know, sister stuff, and we all have, but she just showed up in this way that was like, I can trust that you aren't going to need anything later. I don't need to do anything. You just have me. And that's like it. And I think the more people that become vulnerable to say, hey, I'm really not okay right now, or like, what do I need, if they know, then we get to give them that.
Yes.
And so the earth knows, and we need to learn how to listen, but we also need to ask for what we need and to listen to each other, you know? So thank you for...
We'll have to go sit under my tree and put our heads on the ground before we're done here.
I would love to.
And say a little prayer. I'll take you to where I buried my baby that I lost behind the swing set.
Oh, I would be so honored. And I think that's the other piece of this, is like, the more it's talked about, the more it's freed for other people to cry together, release together, like feel together, and move through that to make something really beautiful together.
And you know, and also scream together. I mean, let's be honest. It's like, okay, the
female
is like gentle and feminine. Also, we're also fierce.
Rage is
you know,
real.
and sometimes that's the appropriate response. You 100%. Know, and anybody that's going to try to like contain our rage is clearly, you know, like that's part of the imbalance. Totally. You know, our rage is a healthy response to the injustice that's happening right now as life givers, as caregivers. It's, you know, it's like the word hysteria is like, I've been called hysterical. The moms of Ojai have been called hysterical for asking questions. Rachel Carson was called hysterical for asking questions. And then not only was she right, she ended up dying from the thing that she had pointed out. And this is the woman, you know, that everybody reveres as being someone who helped start the environmental movement. And so we have to listen to women. Yeah. And if a woman is upset, if she seems hysterical, that's especially when you need to listen. Like, why is she so upset? You know, why is that weed there? Why is this woman screaming? You know, why is this woman crying? There's a reason for that. That is deserved, and it's an important part of what we bring to the conversation.
It's so beautiful, Rebecca, and so true. And oh yeah, I love talking about, it's been recent because I think I've had rage my whole life that I haven't ever known how to express. And I think that's part of the gut healing issue too, is like there's been the fire in my belly that I've been terrified of, right? And the gut health that's connected to the earth health, like it's all so connected. And I'm sure you have so much wisdom around that, and that would be amazing. But I just recently, like including from the miscarriage to other grief, I've been letting myself scream, and it's so helpful. Like I'm into it. I'm really into it.
We should go outside and scream too. Okay, we'll do both of those things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a perfect day. All the feels, all the things, all the eggs. Oh.
My grandmother used to get plates from like yard sales.
And break, you're kidding me.
And then she had a cellar, and she had a stone wall. And every now and then, my grandmother, who's full-blooded Lebanese, by the way, she would get that look, and she would be so mad. And I'd be like, uh-oh, Mama's gonna blow. And she, like, you literally could see the steam coming, and she'd go, and she'd say, excuse me for a moment. And then she'd walk downstairs like the Southern lady that she was, and you'd hear, ah, crash. And then if he was really mad, ah, crash.
Yeah, get it, crash. You know what's even more bizarre? This is so bizarre because the story is so epic. My mom we called it breaking the plate. So when we wanted to break the pattern of the behavior, we would throw plates against a tree.
Let's do that too.
I know, it's so
Let's do that too. So we have
good.
to go. We have to scream and throw plates. I've got some plates we can throw, and we're gonna kneel and we're gonna kiss the ground under the tree.
I will kiss all the grounds. Okay. Thank you so much for your absolutely beautiful, venerable heart. Is there anything else you want to share? Like we always do. Is there anything else you want?
Well, you mentioned gut health. And the only thing I want to say about that, which is something that I learned from Kiss the Ground, is that we actually don't eat food. It is the bacteria in our gut that actually digests our food. So like we put the food in our body, but then it is our gut microbiome that eats and breaks down that food. And then we then get the nutrition from what it discards. And so that's how we are actually reliant for our nutrition, for our ability to absorb the nutrition from food on the bacteria in our gut. And when we are eating foods, right?
No, I did not know that.
And when you're eating food that has been laced with an herbicide or a pesticide, you are literally putting food in your body that kills off the life in your body that is there to digest and break down that food for you. And therefore, you're killing off your ability to even get the nutrition from that food. It is, and not only that, it's like there's a connection between our gut and our brain. And there's a connection between our heart and our brain. And so our gut, they call it like follow your gut.
Yeah.
It's because there's an intuition in your gut that's very real. And in order to keep that brain in your gut, which is actual life, like billions of life in your gut, right? And it's, in order to be able to have that intuition, that ability to follow your gut, you have to actually feed your gut. You have to stop killing your gut with food that's laced with pesticides that literally kills it as it's being consumed. And so, yeah, we have to eat food that is not grown, organic food and regenerative organic food, because it's one thing if you just eat an organic thing. A lot of the organic soil is some of the worst soil that there is because it is grown in a monocrop. A lot of it's covered with plastic. A lot of it is the only point of the organic movement at first. It was a noble idea and it was great. And it took nearly 50 years to get up to about 4 to 5 million acres, if that. But the problem with it is that a lot of the soil that it's grown in is completely dead, and it's the ability for that plant to actually pull the nutrition up into the food has been destroyed. And they're actually, it's not that the nutrition isn't in the soil, it's that when you don't have life in the soil, the root has no ability to actually pull it up into the plant. And so it's regenerative organic that is the gold standard. And organic is important, and regenerative is important, but the two have to go hand in hand.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Well, and can you say one more thing? Because I just love listening to you so much. There was one other thing that was popping up about the Regen Women and then your children's show.
Yes.
Because that's so important to tie the whole thing full circle. I mean, I feel like you also honor the ancestors in your films. You also honor the elders, but also to share what this has done for your children and what they want to do because of this work. Will you share?
Yes.
About that?
So, and I'll actually show you the sizzle when we go inside.
Oh, yeah.
So my kids traveled around the world with us at the time. They were 7 and 10. And we were getting ready to travel literally all the way around the world to make groundswell. Our first stop was at a refugee settlement in northern Uganda. It took us 72 hours to get there with Tom and Linda Cole. So we went to African Women Rising in Palabek. We started there, then we went to Kenya. We actually got stuck in a political riot. I was like stuck outside having to like pay $10,000 cash to the Indian embassy because they weren't going to let us into the country because we were going to film Vans in a Shiva, and it was like a whole thing. Anyway, and then
that is a whole thing.
It is a whole thing. And then we went to Egypt and we filmed there. We traveled to 100 miles from Gaza and like Israel, where so we were like literally next to a war base and warplanes were flying, but they were regenerating the Sahara Desert, which was amazing, on 5,000 acres at this farm there. And then we went to India. We traveled all over India. We got typhoid. We got so sick. The kids got typhoid.
So sorry.
The point of all this is, the kids wanted to document it as well.
Yeah.
They're like, our parents are filmmakers. We want to be filmmakers. So we gave them cameras and they filmed the whole thing. And now and Athena, my daughter, who's now 12, she's writing and producing with me and I'm directing it and Jedi's in it and they love it. It's a show called Athena and Jedi Learn to Fix the Planet. And it's their adventure all around the world, going to all of these major different ecosystems and learning how people from all walks of life are healing their environment through growing food regeneratively.
Oh, yes. I'm so excited. And then it can be shown in all schools everywhere.
Yes. And also it deals with Like, what is climate change?
Right.
What are climate refugees? What is climate migration? What does desertification look like? How do we heal? How do we stop wars through food?
Solution.
How do we, they learned.
That is the answer.
They did. They learned how to talk to young people about the most scary topic that they're having to face, which is, do we have a future?
Right.
And they're being told they don't.
Right. And these are solutions that they can actually rely on, that they can do. And actually connecting to the earth heals the self.
Yes.
So it works on every level.
It does.
Those that are having anxiety about the planet, go plant something magical.
Exactly. And also the show will teach adults how to talk to young
Exactly.
people.
Oh,
It
so
will kind of like
brilliant.
underhand the adults the information and teach adults how to talk to kids about this so that we're not paralyzing them in fear and instead
This is
explaining
essential.
what the situation is, but also educating that there is a path forward and we can all
This
participate.
is essential. And how do we join that movement? And how are we
Well, you can reach out to me. I'm Rebecca at bigpictureranch.com. I'm definitely looking for people to help support the
But
process.
is it a nonprofit or is it?
No, we have a fiscal sponsor, which is
Okay.
the Redford Center.
Okay, great to know.
Yes.
So you're
You want to
looking
produce? You
for
want to
support.
produce?
Probably.
I'll show you the sizzle.
Yeah. I'm like, probably we're going inside to make movies together. So
Yes.
yeah.
Good. And then and
Yeah,
also
I
a curriculum
totally
that goes
wanna
with each
see
episode.
this.
So it's like, what is regeneration? What is desertification? How do we heal the deserts? What is the
Actually,
role that women play in
I
regeneration?
have a whole idea now.
Okay, well, first we have some plates to throw,
Yeah.
some screaming to do, and the ground to kiss. So shall we do that?
Yeah, that'll bring it all to the surface.
Okay.
But these roots are deep. Thank you, Rebecca.
Love
I love you
you.
so much. Thank you for inviting me into this.
This is my spot.
Oh, may I join you?
Please come.
I'm like, thank you, Rebecca, for having me here.
This is where I come every day and I pray and I ask for guidance.
Oh, it's so clean. Well, all the mycelium are so happy around here.
She says, sure, give it a try.
Okay, cool. I was getting a definitely yes.
Okay,
This
how do we
is
do
so
this? I'm going to
joyful.
follow. I've never thrown a plate
Well,
against this
I
tree.
would just
so what do you
like
recommend?
say what you want to let go.
Okay.
You know, it can be in your head or out loud. And then, like, because this was when I was little, my mom, we would do this when we wanted to break a pattern of behavior, like losing things everywhere. I'm still working on that. There's things I, would still love to let go of, but you say it and then you just break the plate into the
Okay.
tree.
All right.
And you just let it go and
All right.
give it back to the earth. And maybe we make something cool with the broken pieces.
Okay. We'll
Maybe we
collect
make
it.
a little film in it.
Okay.
Definitely
that.
want to talk regen women.
I want to go first.
Grateful you
Show me how it's
exist.
done.
Thinking if there's anything else I want to let go of. I want to let go of any fear around how great and magnificent this can be. Yes. Because it can be, I know what this can be. And I know that together it already is everything, but I want to let go of the resistance to what's I know is the next steps forward to this movement and to my role in it.
Yes. I hear that.
Yeah.
May anything that might stop us from really being
Exactly.
of service
That's it.
and sharing the message.
Thank you. And thank you for protecting us until now.
Yes. Yes. Served a
You got it.
purpose and now we can let it go.
Let it go. Let's let it go.
Okay, let's let it
Okay,
go.
are all
Ready?
animals safe?
All right.
Yep, you're on your bushes. Is this one good?
Let's
Okay.
do it.
1, 2, 3.
Ah! Yeah!
It's really fun, right?
Really, should we do one more just for fun? I have 2 more.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, hold on.
If you want, yes. Yes, you're okay with the dog too. Break all the plates you want.
This is for, this is so, may anything that might have the darkness consume us be broken.
Ooh, amen, honey. Whoa, that's deep. And
He'll be okay. He'll be okay.
may we remember that self-service is the ultimate way home to the collective service.
Yes.
To embrace all of our needs is to also embrace the need for all in the collective.
Yeah.
fuck the mom guilt.
Thank you.
Yes.
Got to.
Okay, ready?
Yes, exactly.
This
No,
is anything that's going to stop us from loving ourselves and those around
Did you
us.
hear that?
Here, go on, go
You
home.
heard that?
Go home.
Yes,
Ready?
let's
Okay,
go.
let's start screaming first. Ready?
Okay, we're gonna do
Oh, shoot. Hold on, I've got to do it one more time.
Oh, get it. She's got to really break the plate. You got your hibiscus on.
I was a horror queen, remember?
That was what?
I used to be in horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, ready?
So, yeah, get it, horror queen.
Oh,
That was very fabulous over the vineyard. That was amazing.
Like, oh, yeah, it broke.
Oh no, she broke and she went over. That was a really good one.
Okay, one more into the ground. Shall we kiss the ground one more time?
Completely perfect. Yes, you can kiss it too.
Thank you, Big Mama.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Thank you, mamas. Hey, babies. Thank you, baby. Oh, thank you.
The best.
Oh my God, literally dream come true to be part of Kiss the Ground. And now I'm actually on the ground with a true icon, true game changer of the movement and of the world. Can be better. We're so lucky and blessed that we know that we get to be this devoted to this. I just think I'm also so grateful that I get to feel this connected. As intense as it is, sometimes it's so worth it.
Talk to the crows on the wire. They carry a voice I still know. My hands in the dirt, pulling fire from seeds that the dead helped me sow. The gardens remember what I can't forget. A woman who lived here I've already